Lana Samuels from WHITEFOX, and here's the deal. That line might sound familiar, and for good reason. For the past 8 years, it's been the signature opening to hundreds of videos that built my brand, carved my path in real estate, and helped WHITEFOX disrupt the real estate industry. Our tone of voice aren't just cute catchphrases. They're part of a larger strategy, a strategy that incorporates our visual identity and our core pillars being bold, polished, and matter-of-fact. WHITEFOX provides a complete brand that cuts through the noise in a world where attention is the new currency. But it's not about going viral. It's about creating content that converts. It's about showing up so clearly and consistently that when the moment comes, you're already known, you're already trusted, and you're already in the door. So I reframed it from social media to business media, because every like, every handshake, every DM, they're all digital handshakes. And those handshakes built my network and my net worth. So today, I'm going to take you behind the curtain and show you how I turned my social media into my business media and how I sidestepped the traditional forms of marketing and built a digital-first brand. But before I get into the how, let me tell you a little bit about the why, because the proof is in the progress. I was born in Brussels, Belgium, and French is my first language. We lived there for the majority of my life as my dad was a professional soccer player. We were constantly moving, constantly meeting new people, and constantly having to adapt to new environments. At the age of 18, I moved to London and spent 10 years working in one of the most prestigious and exclusive districts globally, Mayfair. There I learnt the importance of operating in a setting where excellence is the norm and attention to detail is paramount. In 2017, on a holiday back to Australia, my dad introduced me to his neighbour, a young, charismatic real estate agent called Marty Fox. Now, I won't go into all the details, but what I will tell you is I bought my first home from him that day. And still to this day, I believe he stitched me up on the sale price. But that's a completely different story. He was 2 weeks away from launching the brand. He showed me the WHITEFOX logo and the first office. And believe it or not, that was the moment he made me download Instagram, because I was a Facebook girl leading up to that point. So I went back to the UK and I started to watch the business unfold through Instagram. And I was mesmerized. The brand was embracing social media more than anyone else was at the time, and I wanted to be part of it. So I packed my bags, moved back to Australia to join the business. I had no network, no database, and no real estate experience. Just the belief that this could be something really special. But the first few years were brutal. A tiny office, a team of 4. Every day, we were the underdogs. We had our backs up against the wall, challenging the status quo and doing things so differently. But fast forward 8 years, we now have 14 offices across 2 countries, 107 staff and growing. And me, I went from being the first client to the first EA to the first sales director to now the first shareholder. But more specifically, 3 years ago, I opened the Bayside office, running a team of 8, keeping them motivated, accountable, and helping them accelerate their careers alongside my own. What started off as a way to connect with family and friends and share memories has now become one of the most powerful business tools of our time. I used to keep things pretty private, but then I realized social media wasn't just for scrolling. It could be my secret weapon. And through watching Marty and the business, it flipped a switch. So I built a brand and I started to connect with people faster than ever before. But how did I do it? Because you don't go from nothing to credible in your field overnight. The same way you don't go from selling $500,000 apartments to $10 million homes overnight. They both take time, experience, consistency, and trial and error. But where do you start? Well, firstly, you need to find your voice and unlock your story. Who are you? What makes you memorable? Secondly, you need to invest. I was always topping up additional social content spend, even when my vendors said no, because I knew it was one of the best ways to get their property seen and also to build a brand. And thirdly, you need to be consistent. I use my media for two key reasons: to connect with my clients around the clock and to stay on the radar of buyers and sellers that I haven't even met yet. These platforms let us connect, influence, and sell like never before. The properties haven't changed, but how we showcase, share them, and sell them, that's been completely redefined. When used correctly, social media becomes your launchpad, a personal brand that works harder than your prospecting ever could. And here's the thing, there's nothing quite like people prospecting you, but it doesn't happen overnight. It can take years before the momentum hits. We all have multiple platforms at our disposal, and you can't be great at all of them. You have to be able to commercialize your chosen social media tool and weaponize it into your business media tool. And for me, that's my Instagram. Here's what I know. People don't just buy homes, they buy stories. And social media is the stage where those stories come alive. It could be cinematic videos, property walkthroughs, your thoughts on the market. It could be funny content. Whatever it is that makes you unique, that's the important part. Because it's not about catching eyes, it's about driving action. But let's be clear. Social media doesn't replace hard work. It amplifies it. Every post, every story, every DM has always been backed up by hard work, long hours, and relentless learning. But what it did give me was reach and build trust equity within my network and helped fast track my career in a relatively short period of time. Social media let me build trust before the first handshake and gave me the freedom to list and sell wherever I choose. Now, whilst I lead the Bayside office, I've sold in over 58 suburbs across Melbourne, with over 800 million in career transactions. That's the power of reach, that's the power of relationships, and that's the power of showing up online with purpose. I recently sold a home for 7.1 million off market in just 2 weeks off one short Instagram reel. The buyer wasn't on the portals, they weren't looking in that suburb. A friend sent him the link and within 24 hours, he bought the home. That single post hit thousands of views and generated a fee of over 130,000. Proof that with the right message, the right platform, reach turns into real results. People don't just buy homes, they buy into people. And if you're authentic, relatable, and consistent, they'll buy into you. I had the privilege of learning from Marty, a visionary who saw the power of social media long before it was obvious. Back in the day, they used to laugh. You can't sell through social media. Stick to print, stick to tradition. And now, our vendors ask for our content, and our competitors study our videos. So what came next? It wasn't about just building a following. Strangers became clients, followers became referrals. This wasn't just networking, it was relationship building at lightning speed. And here's why that's important. You never know who's watching you, and when it's you, they decide to work with. And then there's the access. Just think about it. You're not just in their feeds, you're in their homes. You're in their living rooms, their bedrooms, their bathrooms. That's 24/7 reach. And again, like I said, you never know who's watching, and when it's you, they decide to work with. But let me give you a real example. We were filming a high-profile listing. I snapped a photo, I tagged Marty and the client, and within 1 hour, a media personality that we'd been quietly nurturing reached out. That same day, we listed his $8 million home. That's the power of social proof. One single post can spark action. In today's world, people don't just listen, they watch. We're a visual generation, constantly scrolling, constantly absorbing, and decisions are made in just seconds based on what they see. That's why I dress to match the home, to be memorable, intentional, strategic. It actually started when I was on the biggest listing of my career, a $17.5 million home. I went out, I bought a dress in the exact same duck egg blue as the interior colour palette of the property. The video goes up and the impact was immediate. People started to notice. Then vendors started to ask me to dress to match their home. It's hysterical. It's very expensive, actually. Because everything that you post has to work for you. So important. When someone's about to hand you their biggest listing, they want to know the person behind the pitch. Today, a strong sales record isn't enough. Vendors are doing their due diligence. They're checking our presence, our content, our alignment to make sure that it marries up with their values and their vision. I recently listed a home in Toorak, one of the most expensive suburbs in the country. And the vendor had a relationship with another agent for over 3 years. We connected, I pitched, and I won the listing. Why? Because he'd been watching me quietly for years. He never liked a post, he never commented, but he was there, watching. Sounds a bit creepy, actually, doesn't it? He said, I love the fact that your brand cross-pollinates across suburbs, states, and even countries. But then he said this, the other agent hasn't posted since 2024. I checked, then I looked at your profile and you are active. This is the new due diligence. Your online presence is your credibility. And people don't just want the best agent. They want the one who's visible, aligned, and already in their world. But here's the truth about content. There's no such thing as too long or too short. It's just too boring.
Lana Samuels de WHITEFOX. Bon, voilà le marché. Bienvenue à Chantilly, un château français conçu par Rob Mills. In other words, welcome to Chantilly.
That property had everything working against it. Unfurnished, construction chaos across the street, 3 failed campaigns with other agents, and not one of them bothered to make a video. Our mission, create social content that would make them stop scrolling. And the result? A video that exploded, almost 50,000 views, hundreds of likes, hundreds of shares, plus something that we never expected. Free coverage in the Herald Sun. And the moral of the story? Create content that creates impact. But let me show you the numbers that matter. Here it is. My digital CV. 898 hard posts in 7.5 years, plus thousands of stories. This is a daily discipline for me. My insights, over 600,000 views of my profile in the last 30 days. And just to put that into perspective, that's over 6 MCG stadiums worth of eyeballs on my content. Size doesn't matter. The connection does. Don't chase the follow count. I've had collaborations with huge accounts, which have had little impact with my clientele. When I look at my profile, it's not the biggest, but it's a laser-focused audience. They know what I do, why I do it, and how I do it. They're engaged, qualified, real estate-ready eyes. For me, it's not about chasing clout, it's about capturing the right attention, because that's what drives results. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes consistency, discipline, and showing up when no one's clapping yet. So here's my challenge to you. Pick your platform, show up with intent, tell your story, add value, and play the long game. Because someone out there right now is watching you. And when they're ready, you want to be the first person that they think of. Because people might not clap today, but one day soon, they'll call. Or better yet, they'll slide into your DMs. Thank you.